content guidance. Hey! LL, my books are rom-coms, but I do like to include more serious topics within them that some may find triggering. If you feel trigger warnings are spoilers, feel free to skip the next paragraph. Everyone else, see below. This story is about a woman who is being stalked by a mentally ill stranger. There are mentions of suicide, kissing cousins, and discussions about firearms for the purpose of self-defense. Seth. Chapter 1. T. His stares are gone. I stood outside at the top of the landing just beyond the door of my second-story apartment, on the phone with my best friend and gawking at a straight drop-off. The demolished remnants of what used to be steps sat piled into a metal dumpster in the carport below in a mess of splintered wood and rusted wrought iron. What do you mean they're gone? Gabe asked. Gone. As in someone removed them. Silence. I'm coming over. He hung up. I dragged a hand down my mouth. I'd heard banging this morning, but they were re-roofing the carport, so I didn't think anything of it. The property manager had been doing repairs, finally. The place was dated. It needed it. And we did need new stairs. I just thought maybe I'd get a text first. I was searching for the number to call him when the door to the unit across from mine opened. A woman stood in the doorway. My new neighbor? I hadn't met her yet. She'd just moved in. Pretty, around my age, maybe 27, 28. Brown hair. Bear spray in her hand. She balked in the threshold, looking at me like she might back up and slam the door and bolt it. Then she glanced at the missing steps and did a double take. Where are the stairs? I think they're in that dumpster. I gestured to the carport. I'm Seth. I'm your neighbor. I was about to call the property manager, I said, already dialing. He picked up on the second ring. This is John. Hi, John. Seth in apartment 16. Were you aware that my stairs are gone? A long pause. Your stairs are gone. That is correct. I heard water shutting off. Are there workers there? I peered around. None that I can see. He cursed under his breath. I'll be there in 5. I hung up. He's on his way. She wrapped her sweater protectively around herself. I heard the banging. I just thought it was the carport thing. Yeah, me too, I said. Who do you think did it? She asked. Probably a mistake, I said, leaning over the edge. Please don't. I glanced at her. What? That. You could fall. I'm not going to fall. Trust me. No, seriously, please. I'm an arborist, I said. I spend my days hanging out in trees. I'm very good with heights. Well, I'm not? And you're making me nervous. Also, you have an injury? What if you trip? I peered down at my ankle. I was off the crutches now, but I was still wearing the boot. Okay, good point, I said. I guess I am a bit of a fall risk. She looked relieved when I stepped back. How did you get that? She asked. Dead branch coming down. I had to jump out of the way. Is it broken? She asked. No, just a bad sprain. She nodded, looking around uncomfortably. I let out a breath and checked my watch. I was gonna get a coffee, I mumbled. I guess that's not happening anytime soon. You don't have any in your apartment? Unfortunately not. I'm sorry, what was your name? I asked. I'm Charlotte. Nice to meet you. John came jogging up to the building. When he got to where the stairs used to be, he stopped and looked around, perplexed. Told you, I called. Son of A, he muttered. He took out his cell and called someone. Yeah, Guillermo? Your guys took down the wrong stairs. I said apartment 60, not 16. I've got tenants that can't get out. When are they coming back? A pause. Monday? No. It's Friday. That's the whole weekend. I don't care. I don't care. Put up something temporary. Another pause. Let me call you back. He hung up and squeezed his eyes shut before turning back to us. I think we're going to need to put you two up in a hotel. They can't get back here until next week. The concrete guys are already gone for the weekend. The railings aren't getting delivered until Monday morning. The earliest I can get you stairs is Monday by 5 o'clock. I don't want to be in a hotel, Charlotte said. I don't really want to be in a hotel either, I said. The landlord would pay for it, John called. That's not really the point? My stuff is here. I have a fish, I said. Charlotte was nodding. Well, I can't leave you two in an inaccessible building. It's a fire hazard, he said. He looked around before coming back to us. I could get a boom lift. Just so you can get up and down in an emergency. What's a boom lift? She asked me. It's that bucket thing electricians use? I said. She shook her head. I'm not getting into a boom lift. Or using a ladder. I don't like heights, there's no way. I mean, I'm okay just hunkering down, I called. I'd rather not be displaced. Me either, she said. I don't need to leave. I can stay in my apartment for a weekend. It's just 3 days. John didn't look convinced. I still think I should get something out here. If neither of us are going to use it, don't spend the money on a lift, I said. Just get us a ladder, in case we have an emergency. Can you use a ladder with your foot? He asked. If I'm motivated enough, I'll figure it out. He puffed air into his cheeks. Okay, we'll compensate you for the inconvenience. Prorate your rent. Back out the days you're stuck up there, cut you a check for a hotel and food whether you use it or not. I looked at Charlotte. She shrugged. Seems fair, she said quietly. We get paid to be trapped in our apartments. I'm usually trapped in my apartment for free, she whispered. I snorted and looked back at John. We accept. 3 minutes later, he came back with a ladder. I'm really sorry, he said, leaning it against the landing. It happens, I said. Well, it actually doesn't, he said. But I appreciate you guys being cool about it. Is there anything I can get you to? I looked at my partner in captivity. I'm good. How about a bucket and a rope, she called. In case we need to haul up groceries or something. Or lower lotion down, I said. I got a laugh out of her. Silence of the Lambs reference. Always a good icebreaker. Sure, John said. And text me if you think of anything else. We watched him leave from our second-story perch. When he was gone, she turned to me. I really hope he doesn't get in trouble. He's so nice. It's not his fault, I said. And I'm certainly not reporting it to anyone. Me either. You're not putting this on YouTube or something, are you? I wouldn't even begin to know how to do that, I said honestly. She smiled a little. She was still holding the bear spray. I nodded at it. You carry that with you everywhere? I asked. It's more convenient than my gun. Smaller too. I choked. Can we actually keep the ladder up here? She asked. I blinked at her. Up here? Yeah. It kind of freaks me out that someone can climb it. I mean, it's no different than stairs being there. It would just really make me feel better. She peered up at me with soft brown eyes that I couldn't say no to for some reason. Okay. She was too scared to get close enough to the edge to help me, so I ended up dragging it up myself, in my boot and all. Luckily, it was a lightweight one. Also luckily, I was in shape enough to do it. I can't say that most people threw logs around for a living like I did. Why live on the second floor if you're this scared of heights? I asked, setting the ladder against the wall. It's safer. From what? She didn't get to answer. Someone was making caw-caw bird noises from the ground. I leaned over to see Gabe standing down there, keening like an idiot. There you are, he said. Damn, you weren't kidding about the stair thing. Charlotte popped her head out, and his eyes went wide. Hello, he said. Who's this? This is Charlotte, I said. She lives in the other apartment. Hi. She waved. Hi. He grinned up at her. So, what are you gonna do? He asked. How soon until they get the stairs back up? Monday. Monday? Shit. The sound of screeching tires turned us to a red Camaro fishtailing around the corner into the parking lot. It came to a skidding stop under the carport. A young woman in black yoga pants and Doc Martens threw the door open, leaned into the back seat for something, and then bounded from the vehicle with a baseball bat. She slid to a halt where the stairs used to be, panting. Charlotte looked over the ledge. Izzy, I've been calling, the woman said. You were supposed to meet me 20 minutes ago. You didn't answer, and your location wasn't moving. I thought you were. Where the fuck are your stairs? Charlotte blew out of breath. I'm sorry. I got distracted. I didn't see my phone. I didn't mean to scare you. Izzy dropped the bat in the grass and leaned with her hands on her knees, catching her breath. After a few moments, she looked at Gabe. Who are you? I'm Gabe. Who are you? None of your business. She straightened. You're okay, she called up to her friend. Fine, Charlotte said. Some workers took the stairs out on accident. I can't leave for a few days. And who's this? She asked, pointing at me. Seth, I said. Seth what? Seth Gonzalez. Okay, listen up, Seth Gonzalez. If anything happens to her, I'll fucking kill you. I glanced at Charlotte. Okay. Izzy turned back to Gabe, looked him up and down, made a little fake lunge, grabbed her bat, and left. I turned slowly to my neighbor while her friend drove off. Well, that was. She sucked air through her teeth. I'm sorry. She gets aggressive when she's scared. Like a cornered raccoon or something? She bobbed her head. More like a wolverine. Hey, I'ma call you, Gabe said from down below. Go inside. I looked back at Charlotte. Excuse me for a moment. Sure. Actually, I should probably try and get some work done, she said. It was nice to meet you. I nodded. Yeah, you too. I went back into my apartment and Gabe called me. I'm not gonna lie, the friend was low-key terrifying, and also I was sort of into it, he said. Huh. Why do you think there was a sock on the end of that bat? He asked. I have no idea, I said, rubbing my brow. Dude, you fucking scored, he said. You've got the lawsuit of the century and a hot chick to hang out with? I went to the window to look out at him getting into his car. Okay, first of all, I'm not suing anyone. I wouldn't do that to John. Second of all, we're not hanging out. Listen to me, he said, going on unfazed. Do not, and I cannot stress this enough, spend the whole time talking to her about trees. I'm not going to talk to her about trees. Okay, because you do that when you're nervous. It's all jacarandas, and did you know most trees are male? Okay, I get it. And also, I probably won't even see her again. What do you mean? You two are officially residents of the most exclusive penthouse in Burbank. Of course you're gonna see her again. My phone pinged with a text. John, outside with the bucket. Hey, I gotta go. No trees. Okay. I went back out. John tossed me a rope and tied it to the handle of a white painter's bucket. I hauled it up and set it by the door. Thanks, I called. You got it. Seriously, let me know if there's anything I can do while you're up there. John's girlfriend, Holly, came around the building in her scrubs. She was a hospice nurse. She worked a lot with a residential retirement home where I volunteered. I actually knew her before I knew John. It's how I found the apartment. She scrunched up her nose when she saw me. Oh man. Seth, we're really sorry. It's fine, I said. I'll let the ladies know you won't be making it to bonsai class tonight. Appreciate it. She smiled at her boyfriend. See you later, she said, and gave him a quick peck. He grinned after her, smitten. I used to be smitten with someone once. Now I was divorced. Today, actually. It was like the universe wanted me sequestered this weekend, so I had no choice but to mull over the very strange turn that my life had taken over the last year. No distractions. No daily trip to get coffee. Think about your ex and be sad. I went inside to see what else I had with caffeine in it so I could stave off the headache I felt creeping in. I found a depressing, carbonated but caffeinated, sugar-free soda that Cecilia left when she moved out, and I was too practical to throw it away. I didn't like to waste things, even things that tasted like shit. I took swallows of it like it was medicine. I watered my plants, fed my fish, stared out the window in my bedroom at the black mission fig tree that was the reason I'd chosen this particular apartment after the separation last year. It was a great tree. Divorced. I still couldn't fully believe it. It's hard to process something like this when you did everything right. I could say, with 100% certainty, that I had given that marriage everything. I was faithful. I was an equal partner. I loved her with my entire soul. I just wasn't what she wanted. What she wanted was fucked up, to be totally honest, which made it a little easier to come to terms with. But still, someone knocked on my door. I set my terrible soda down and went to answer it. It was Charlotte. With coffee. Charlotte. Chapter 2. S. F had excused himself to take a call with Gabe, and I'd used that as my cue to escape. I slipped into my apartment, bolted the lock and drew the chain across, and put my back to the door. The whole last 20 minutes had been a roller coaster of a lot of things. I actually thought for a split second that the stairs had been George. I was probably giving him too much credit. He was very good at finding me. He was excellent at terrorizing me. But removing a whole flight of stairs in half an hour? It was industrious, even for him. I let out a breath and called Izzy. "Never do that to me again," she said, picking up on the first ring. "I'm sorry," I said, sliding down to the floor. "Of all the fucking days when I'm not picking you up for target practice." "I know. It was unfortunate timing. I got overwhelmed and I didn't think to call you." She scoffed. "Overwhelmed is right. I'm here thinking you're being murdered, and instead, you're in a tree house with a hot botanist." "Is he? Is he what? Hot? You have eyes, don't you?" "No," I said. "Is he a botanist?" "Yeah. He works for the city of Burbank doing tree shit. An arborist with a bachelor's in botany from Cal State." "Huh. I knew he was an arborist. He'd told me. I guess I just didn't realize it was more than landscaping." "He has no record, by the way," she said. "And his socials are clean." Good Lord, it's only been 5 minutes. I only needed 2. I rolled my eyes. My best friend was a private investigator. Actually. And a very good one. I hired her 2 years ago when all this started. She was also a firearms instructor who taught self-defense classes. She knew mixed martial arts and had a touch of unbridled rage that needed an outlet the way working dogs needed jobs to make them tired. She always said it should have been her that George got fixated on. She could have handled it. She would have looked forward to it, a reason to kill a man, her favorite thing. If only stalkers were transferable. We sat in silence for a moment. "You know what's just absolutely wild?" I said. The second I realized the stairs were gone, it was the safest I've felt in a year. "Yeah, I could see that," she said, softer now. I squeezed my eyes shut. "This is not what I thought today was going to be like," I said tiredly. "What did you think it was going to be like?" "I don't know. I thought there'd be stairs." She scoffed. "I guess I'm missing Valentine's Day on Sunday," I mumbled. It's stupid anyway. Not stupid to me. The only times I felt truly safe going out these days were when I was with Izzy's friend group. A posse of female ex-military, active police who liked to go to brunch. "I wanted a mimosa," I moaned. No. What I wanted was to feel normal again. I wanted to wander a Target, walk alone on the beach, go on dates. The isolation was the worst part. Well, the second worst part. The first was the afraid for my life at all times thing. But I used to be social. I used to work in an office with coworkers, and we'd go out for drinks, and I'd go on vacations and have lunches with people. Now I didn't. Now I worked from home. It was safer. Less risk than having a parking garage to walk through to get to an office, a place of business that anyone could go into at any time, a routine that could be tracked and followed. Now, there were weeks that I didn't even leave the house. Entire periods of time where it was just me in the 4 walls of my apartment, alone, because going to a bar or a restaurant or even the nail salon was too much exposure. I never felt safe. I never slept well. This one sick, twisted human had changed every aspect of my life. Sometimes it felt like he had already killed me. A part of me. And he made me weird. He made me the kind of person who carried around bear spray, so when I did meet a cute guy, he'd be like, "Wow, bear spray, huh?" And then I'd bring up my gun. God. "I think I'm going to run for a bit," I said, looking forlornly at my treadmill. Maybe some weights after. Working out was one of the many things I did now to prepare myself for the potential fight for my life I might have to make one day. That and the self-defense classes I took with Izzy. I'd never been in better shape. My ass looked great, and nobody to see it. Why don't you go hang out with the tree guy, she said. Why would I do that? Why wouldn't you do that? What else do you have to do? You've got the urban equivalent of a lumberjack across the hall. And he's single. How do you know? Bitch, I know. His friend is single too. What? You didn't even get his last name. Women solve entire murders on their podcasts. You think I can't find out all I need to know about some rando I met on the lawn? She had a point. What was most disturbing was that, given all her detective skills, she still couldn't locate the one person we needed her to be able to locate. 2 months ago, George had violated his probation by failing to report to his officer. When they went to his house, he had moved. To where nobody knew. This wasn't good. It was the same thing he did before he showed up at my last apartment, having a complete psychotic break, peering into my windows from the bushes at 2 a.m. He'd had duct tape. He got a slap on the wrist for violating my restraining order, because of course he did. 1 week in jail that I'd used to move, again, and then probation. He should have been locked up. But they never do anything until it's too late. Seriously, go over there, she said. He's probably busy. He's probably not. He's on temporary disability for the ankle thing. He posted about it on his Instagram a few days ago. He doesn't work from home, and he can't leave. You have a bored, captive audience. My favorite kind, I mumbled. Get up. Go make a fucking friend. Knowing your neighbors makes you safer. She wasn't wrong. Fine, I grumbled. He did say he needed coffee. Perfect. And fix your damn hair. You look feral. I rolled my eyes. Goodbye. I hung up with her and went to look in the mirror. I did look feral. And tired. And pale. He was cute, and I looked like someone who didn't live in a country with sun. I tried to make my pathetic little balcony nice enough to sit out there, but it was full sun facing and way too hot. My whole apartment was pretty awful, actually, which was sad considering how much time I spent here. I'd considered hanging things and painting, but again, what was the point? All that work and a lost security deposit for holes in the walls just to have to move again when George inevitably found me. I'd read that stalkers usually stopped once they fixated on someone else. At least if he was still obsessed with me, he wasn't doing this to another woman. Some other girl who would never be the same. If I thought about it like that, it gave me a little peace. Like my sacrifice was saving someone. Really, it was the only silver lining. That, and I now had excellent marksmanship. I could put 5 rounds rapid fire into center mass from 10 yards away while chewing gum and listening to an audiobook. I splashed water on my face and took my hair out of the ponytail it was in. It was kinky, so I tried to brush it, and I succeeded in making it frizzy and kinky, so I got in the shower. I didn't want him to think I was making some drastic effort on his behalf. He knew I wasn't going anywhere, so anything I did was for him, so when I got out, I threw my hair in a wet braid, tossed on some shorts and a t-shirt, flip-flops, and lip gloss. No mascara. I grabbed a bottle of iced coffee from the fridge and left. It was just the 2 of us on this floor. Our doors faced each other with a decent-sized breezeway between them at what used to be the top of the stairs. I had seen him a few times on my video doorbell. He never had girls over. He never had anyone over except for that Gabe guy. I remembered the first time Seth came hobbling home on crutches a week ago. I actually felt a little sorry for him. He'd been struggling to get his door open while he carried a bag of groceries, and I'd almost popped out to help. Then I remembered that's how Ted Bundy had lured his victims, and I changed my mind. I felt bad about that now. He seemed nice. I knocked. A moment later, he opened the door. "Hi," I said, smiling like I wasn't practically a wild animal at this point. "Hello. I was wondering if you wanted to have some coffee?" I held up the bottle. His grin got bigger. "Sure," he said, opening his door and standing back to let me in. I froze. Of course he'd invite me inside. It was polite. He was doing exactly what I should have expected him to do upon accepting my offer. Only I didn't want to go in there. I didn't know him. Zero criminal history did not mean he was safe. George didn't have a criminal history either, until he did. I also didn't want him in my apartment for the exact same reasons. What if Seth was bad too? What if I was safe from my stalker at the moment, only to be trapped up here with another mentally unstable man who... "Why don't we set up some chairs on the landing?" he said, studying me. "Huh," I said, snapping out of my spiral. "The view's great," he said. "It's covered. I've got a few beach chairs. We could hang out there." He picked up on what I was feeling. I don't know how, but he did, and he was giving me an out. I was beyond grateful. I looked over at the area between our apartments. It was a great space. Now that the stairs were gone, it was sort of a covered balcony. And he wasn't wrong about the view. You could see palm trees over the top of the carport. It was nice. It was outside. It was a neutral space that felt very non-threatening. "Okay," I said. I waited while he hobbled in on his boot and procured 2 blue and orange striped beach chairs. He set them far back enough to keep me from being nervous about the ledge. The white bucket John had delivered was sitting by Seth's door. He flipped it over and set it between the chairs as a makeshift table. Then he limped back inside and came out a minute later with 2 glasses of ice with plastic straws in them. He handed me one. "Thanks," I said. "Thanks for the coffee." We sat in our chairs, pouring our drinks. He brought the straw to his lips and took a sip and closed his eyes. "This is nice." I smiled. It was nice. Izzy had good ideas. "So, how do you like the building so far?" he asked, looking at me. I liked it more when I could leave. He snorted. When I didn't say anything else, he cocked his head. "Did you know that we have terrible allergies because most trees in urban settings are male?" I drew my brows down. "Seriously?" "Yeah, he stopped himself." "You know what? Never mind." "So, what do you do for a living?" he said, changing the subject. "No, I want to hear about this tree thing." "Really?" "Yeah, you can't just drop some random piece of tree trivia on me and then bail." He laughed a little. "It's just, Gabe told me I'd do this." "Do what?" "Talk about trees." "I do it when I'm nervous." "You're nervous?" "Why?" "You're heavily armed." He gestured to the bear spray, which I still had. "Sorry, it's my emotional support bear spray," I said, putting out my lower lip. He laughed. "So tell me, male trees." "No, it's stupid," he said. "It's not stupid. I want to hear it. My allergies are terrible." The corner of his lip twitched. "Okay." He sat back in his chair dramatically. "Every street in this city is a carefully cultivated allergen corridor." I nodded. "A hooking start, I'm listening." "Female trees produce fruit. Fruit falls, it makes messes, it attracts vermin. So most trees planted in urban areas are male. They put out pollen with no female trees to absorb it, so it ends up in the air instead." I gaped at him. "It's true." "That is botanical sexism," I breathed. "Also, that would make a great band name." He chuckled. "What else?" I asked. He eyed me. "Are you just asking me to be nice?" "We don't have to talk about trees." "No, I'm serious. What else?" He thought about it. "Eucalyptus trees are highly flammable." "It's the oil." "Bummer. They smell so good." "I know. But they're terrible in wildfires. California has the world's tallest tree, the coast redwood. They can live for thousands of years, and they repel insects." "Really?" "Yeah. And they have fire-resistant bark." "Wow. Thousands of years. Imagine living that long. All the things you'd see." I looked at him. "How old are you?" "How long have you lived?" "I'm 29. "How old are you?" 27. A blink of an eye to a redwood. I smiled. I gazed back out at the palm trees. "Gotta love Southern California weather," he said. It really was perfect outside. Most of the US was covered in snow, and here it was 70 degrees and sunny. I mourned the loss of Valentine's Day on a warm patio again. "So you have a fish?" I asked. "Yeah, a betta fish." "Oh, does he have a name?" "He does. Swim Shady." I barked out a laugh. "Is he the real Swim Shady or?" All the other swim shaddis are just imitating, he said, totally serious. He was funny. He was dying in a pet store, he said. You know how they sell them in those little cups? Yeah, totally inhumane. A betta needs at least a 5-gallon tank. Almost all his color was gone. He was listless. So I bought him and nursed him back to health. Wow, I said, impressed. How'd you learn how to do that? It's easy. You join Betta Fish Reddit, ask an innocent question, and wait to get bullied. Huh. That is the quintessential Reddit experience. A time-honored tradition, really. And look at you, refusing to abandon him to a hotel room with an exit. That is admirable. Couldn't leave him behind to starve. He needs to eat twice a day, he said. You could have put him in a smaller tank and taken him with you. I promised him he'd never live in a cup again. I keep my promises. I smiled. I liked that. To promises. I held up my coffee. Promises. We clinked glasses. Seth. Chapter 3. S. Oh, why was there a sock on the baseball bat? I asked. We'd been sitting on our little outdoor veranda for the last hour, talking. She was great. More than great, actually. She was smart, funny. She liked to hear about trees. I kept getting a hint of her perfume every time a small breeze blew through. Made me hate the cypresses I loved just an hour ago for blocking the wind. I wasn't lying when I said I was nervous, but it had nothing to do with the bear spray. It had been a really long time since I'd been attracted to someone. I was beginning to think the feature had been turned off. This was an interesting development, for sure. So the sock, she said. If you swing a baseball bat at someone, they sometimes try to take it from you. So, if you have a sock on there, the sock slides off when they grab the bat, it puts them off balance, and you get a second swing to break their skull. She sipped innocently on her drink. You are slightly terrifying, I said. Am I? She grinned. Thank you. So why bear spray? I asked. I mean, instead of pepper spray. Isn't it illegal to use on humans? It is, but I don't really care. Bear spray has better accuracy. It's got a 40-foot range. Pepper spray only has 10. Huh. And you have a gun. Guns, she corrected. How many weapons do you own? I asked. We just met, she said. So big numbers then. She poked at her ice with her straw. Huge. I laughed. Then her smile fell a little. I have to protect myself, she said. From what? More like from who? I studied her. Is it an ex? Or? No, she blew out a breath. For the last 2 years, I've been stalked by a customer at the bank I used to work at. I blinked at her. Do you have a restraining order? She nodded. I do. But he doesn't care. And it's really hard to catch him. Catch him doing what? What does he do? Well, he started by just coming in a lot. He was creepy, and he only wanted me to help him, so I would because that was my job. Then he went from coming in every week to coming in every day. Then multiple times a day. Then the threats started. What kind of threats? Weird stuff? That I was his one true spirit wife. I'm supposed to bear him sons. If he can't have me, no one can. She shivered. We banned him from the building, but the next day, he was waiting for me in the parking lot, so I quit my job. Then he showed up at the next one. And the next one. He broke into my car and did disgusting things in there, left me a gross letter detailing how he was going to kill me. He finds where I live. He'd go through my trash. Your trash. Yeah, it's not a crime. Did you know that? You can go into someone's garbage and collect their lint balls. Totally legal. He's tried to break into my apartment twice. What? Yup. It's why I live on the second floor, even though I don't like heights. What happens when you call the police? She shrugged. He's usually gone by the time they get here. The car and the death threat letter they couldn't prove was him. They did catch him this last time he tried to break in, but only because a neighbor noticed him looking in my window, and they called the cops before he could run. He made bail the next day. It took months for the court proceedings, and then he only got a week in jail and probation. So he just walks around free, I deadpanned. Pretty much. They say they can't do anything until he does something more serious. So I carry bear spray. She paused before continuing. His name is George. He's 42. And he's ruined my life. She gave me a smile that didn't reach her eyes. I stared at her. I'm going to give you my number, I said. If you ever need me, you call me. I'll get here faster than the police. Thanks. John's been really great about it too. I had to leave my last apartment because George found me again. Izzy rented this one for me under her name. Hopefully he can't track me down this time. God, no wonder she showed up with a bat. She usually brings the one with barbed wire on it. I cough-laughed. She peered into her eyes. I've really been hoping that this move would be the last one. It's my 5th one in 2 years. I don't even want to hang frames on the walls. I can't rationalize the effort. I looked out at our view. I'd get that. When nothing feels permanent. Completely different circumstances, of course, but I did understand. It took me a long time to hang frames too. Then I accepted that my life was actually my life, and I might as well have artwork to look at. I puffed my cheeks out. I just got divorced. It was finalized today. She blinked at me. Today? It's fine, I said, putting up a hand. It's been a year. I'm over it. It was for the best. It still sucks, though. How long were you together? She asked. 3 years. Dated for 2, married for 1. She cheated on me for most of it. Ouch! Yeah. She shook her head. I never understand people who cheat in relationships. You want to hear the worst part? Yes. She cheated on me with her cousin. Her mouth fell open. Nua. Yeah. She met him on 23andMe. She didn't. I swear to God. Second cousin, once removed. When I caught them, they were both wearing the purple t-shirts from the family reunion, I said, talking around my straw. Shut up. Pecker Family Reunion 2023. It had a cartoon woodpecker on it, right here on the chest. Her face cracked, and she started laughing. I'm sorry, it's not funny. No, it's hilarious, I said. I mean, not at the time. Obviously. But in retrospect, I can appreciate it. The family resemblance is very strong. They look like siblings, which makes it so much more disturbing. She was dying. Her laughing made me laugh. I'd never actually poked fun at this. I was definitely in a place to mentally. I meant it, I was over it. But I hadn't revisited it in the new, healed mindset I currently existed in. It was sort of freeing, finding humor in it. Finally, do they have the same last name? She asked. Yup, I said, making a popping noise on the P. Oh, Seth. She bit her lip. Have you dated anyone since? No. I'm too afraid. Once incest is on the table, it's hard to trust again. She snorted. I'm sorry. Today must be rough. I shrugged. Sort of? I'm not sad she's gone. I mean, I was at first, of course. Then I realized she wasn't who I thought she was, and I'd been living a lie, and what I really missed was a person who didn't exist, if that makes sense. It makes total sense. Now, I'm just grieving the life I don't have anymore. Imagine having this and picking your cousin. You know, if you want, I can hang some of these frames, he said, closing the slider behind him and nodding at the stack of prints I'd left leaning against my gun safe. Well, if you feel you need a project. Yeah, let's do it. Unless you want to paint first. He looked at me. I wasn't planning on it. No point in losing my deposit for a few weeks of color if I have to move. He put his hands on his hips and studied my bare walls. Let's make a deal. He looked back at me. We paint your walls, and if you leave, I'll paint them back to white and stucco the holes so you don't lose your deposit. I eyed him. Why would you do that? Because this place is fucking depressing. I snorted. Seriously, what else do we have to do? John's probably going to Home Depot today anyway. He could pick up supplies. I didn't answer. He peered at me gently. Look, I know what it's like to live in a place like this. And I get why you're doing it. But then it also feels a little like he's winning. I let out a breath. He was winning. He'd been winning for a very long time. Seth was right. I guess if I had to be backed into a corner, the corner should at least be the color I wanted it to be. Okay, I said. Let's paint. Seth texted John, who was, in fact, on his way to Home Depot. We sent colors I wanted matched down in the bucket. Then we waited on our private balcony while we drank iced coffees and ate cereal Seth had in his apartment. I didn't bring the bear spray. We were chatting about Persian silk trees. I brought them up. They were my favorite with their wispy pink flowers when a California Poppy retirement home transport bus pulled up to the carport. Seth's eyes went wide. Shit. What? I said, looking back and forth between him and the bus. The door opened and old ladies started trickling out. He turned to me. Look, I'm going to apologize in advance for anything you might hear right now. Who are they? I teach a bonsai class at their retirement home, he said, getting up. They're obsessed with me, and they have no filter. I won't be offended if you go inside. Actually, you should definitely go inside. Now. Right now. I shook my head. No way. He stared at me. What do you mean no? Old ladies with no filter? No, I'm not going inside. Please? He slumped. Okay. Don't say I didn't warn you. We stood as close to the edge as I was comfortable with, watching a dozen gray-haired old women with canes and walkers inch their way toward the location where our missing stairs were supposed to be. The leader shielded her eyes from the sun and spotted us. I see him. Hurry up, ladies, Jesus, we don't have all day. Seth, we came as soon as we heard. Hi, Agnes. He sounded slightly defeated. What are you doing here? Aren't you missing Bunko? Screw Bunko. We wanted to come give you our support. We thought you were dead when you didn't show yesterday. I said, his divorce is final today. Valentine's Day is on Sunday. He's offed himself. I choked. Seth rubbed his forehead. Agnes, I have not offed myself, as you can see. I'm perfectly fine. We just had a little construction issue. I'll be back on Tuesday to help you with your trees. He's not offing himself. For what? A second woman said, edging her walker to the front of the crowd. Divorcing a wife who never should have had him to begin with serves her right that you divorced her. She was a whore. Seth glanced at me with an I told you so look. Okay, Dorothy? I don't like that language, remember? We said we weren't calling her that anymore. Well, she is a whore. She's a cousin fucker is what she is. Someone volunteered. I leaned in. Wow, you just told them all the business, I whispered, trying not to laugh. Well, in my defense, they are very good listeners with not so great memories. Or so I thought, he said quietly. I sucked air through my teeth. Cousin fucker really stays with you, I said. Who is that up there with you? Agnes said. This is my neighbor, Charlotte, Seth said. Agnes took the glasses off her head and put them on to squint up at me. Oh, she's pretty. She is pretty. Someone parroted. Have you seen his six-pack thingy yet, hon? Someone asked. Dorothy twisted to look at her. What thingy? The muscles on his stomach. When did you see that? A tiny woman from the back asked. When he was lifting up Betty's tree to put it on that shelf. His shirt went up. Oh, I saw that. I counted 8, though. Not 6. Seth coughed into his fist. Well, have you? Dorothy asked me. Seen it? Not yet, I called. It's on my list. Is it? He whispered out of the side of his mouth. It is now, I whispered back. We baked you Valentine's Day cookies, Agnes said. Except Blanche, who couldn't follow directions if her life depended on it. She brought Nadia Cake's cupcakes instead. You can share them with your lady friend. Thank you, Seth said. We lowered the bucket. A few minutes later, we had more desserts than we could eat in a year, and Seth's guests were leaving. Once the bus was loaded, the driver came over. Seth crossed his arms. Marco. Hey, man. Sorry, I had to bring him. Did you, though? They were worried about you. We all are. Bro, you don't have stairs. We started a GoFundMe. That did it. I was laughing so hard I had to walk away. Seth talked over his shoulder. You keep laughing and I'm not sharing my cookies with you. I wheezed. I don't need the GoFundMe, Seth said. And please text me next time you're bringing the girls over. I would have liked to mentally prepare. You got it, bud. He gave Seth finger guns. We're all praying for you. Okay, thank you. Marco left. I was still cracking up even after the bus was gone. I'd taken the top plate out of the bucket. Pink heart-shaped sugar cookies with the word whore piped on them in a circle with a slash through it. I died. I held one up, and Seth stood there with his arms crossed, trying to look serious and failing miserably. That's Ruth's blue ribbon recipe, he said. She makes them for her church bake sales. Of course she does. Did you see this one? I asked, showing him a cookie with 8-pack abs piped onto it. The Seth lore goes deep over there at California Poppy. Those women are sexually objectifying me, and you think it's funny? What are they like when you're on the ground? I asked. Very grabby. Huh. He held in a laugh. I'm sorry, I said. Is there really 8 though? Is that possible? I'm not telling you. My carefully sculpted washboard abs are none of your business. I bit my lip and closed the gap between us until I was looking up at him with just inches to spare. Okay, I said. I won't ask about your smoking hot bod anymore. Good. You're not a piece of meat. No, I'm not, he agreed. And I want you to feel safe hanging out with me. I don't feel safe, he said with mock seriousness. Not at all. What can I do? He arched an eyebrow. Can I have the bear spray? You really want to keep me off you? Come to think of it? No. We smiled at each other. We were so close I could feel the heat from his body. I liked the heat. He smelled good. I liked the hint of a beard he had, the way his forearms flexed when he was pulling up the bucket, his broad smile, and his deep brown eyes. I liked that little old ladies baked him cookies, and he had a rescue fish, and he talked about trees. Seth was my type. Seth was probably everyone's type. I wondered if I was his. His eyes dropped to my lips. Mine dropped to his. Someone cleared their throat from below. We broke eye contact and peered over the side. I've got the paint? John said, looking uncomfortable. We stepped back from each other, instantly embarrassed. At least I was. Thanks, Seth said, running a hand through his hair. We gotta empty the bucket. Give us a second. We transferred the cookies, somehow managing to not look at each other. When we were done, he lowered it down to John, and I stood there, not sure what to do with myself. I had to fan my face because my cheeks were getting hot. Do you want me to help you pull it all up? I asked. No, I got it. You don't like the ledge, he said. Okay. I put a thumb over my shoulder. I'll just start taking off the light switch covers? Good idea, he said. And I fled into my apartment. Seth. Chapter 5. H! How's it going in the eagle's nest? Gabe asked from my speakerphone. I took my boot off and looked at my bruised ankle. I'd put too much weight on it today. It was throbbing. I shouldn't be doing half of the lifting and moving I'd been doing, but the urge to do things for Charlotte was overriding my common sense. We'd spent the whole day painting her apartment. It looked great. It was after 8 p.m. now. We'd just eaten dinner, pizza, and beers on the landing, and we'd split up to shower. We were meeting back outside in half an hour to eat inappropriate cookies and watch a show on my laptop that we'd both been wanting to see. It's going, I said. Is she cool? Gabe asked. I tossed my boot next to the bed. She is beyond cool. Cool doesn't even cover it. I felt like we were on some epic 24-hour first date. It wasn't a date, of course. It was just a weird circumstance that we found ourselves in that she was probably just making the most of. I was afraid to imagine it was more than that. It was definitely more than that for me. I liked her. I hadn't felt this way in a long time. It was like fate conspired to place the perfect woman in the apartment across from mine, and then it knocked out the stairs for good measure, and my only job was to make her interested in me, which I wasn't sure I was actually doing. We had a little moment earlier, but I think she was just being playful. The flirty stuff from her ceased after John showed up. Maybe it wasn't flirting at all? I need to ask you a favor, I said, peeling off my shirt. Sure. What's up? Can you deliver something to me tomorrow? And don't tell Izzy what it is. I'm not gonna tell Iz. You better fucking tell me, a woman said in the background. I paused with my thumbs hooked to pull my pants down. Is she there? Technically, I'm at her place? The phone muffled like he had a hand over it. If my best friend doesn't want me to tell you something, I'm not gonna, ow. Shit, stop that. No. There was shuffling. Then Izzy got on the phone. What exactly is it that I'm not supposed to know? I just want to surprise Charlotte with something, I said, tossing my pants in the hamper. I don't care if you know, but please, can the two of you keep it a secret? She paused. It's a nice thing? Of course. Fine. She handed the call back to Gabe. Damn, that hurt, he said to her. We need to have a safe word. And you should not be biting people while they're on the phone. Wait till after. He came back to me. So, what's the thing you need me to get? I'll text you. I sat on the end of the bed. The ladies showed up today, I said. Shit, for real. Yup. Gabe started cracking up. What did she think of that? He asked. She thought it was hilarious, Izzy said from the background. Also, she wants to see the abs. I snorted. I said I didn't want to be treated like a piece of meat. I actually didn't mind. At all. Not from Charlotte, anyway. There was a shriek on the other end of the line. The shriek was Gabe's. Then he started giggling. I pinched the bridge of my nose. I'm hanging up now, I said. He hung up first. I got up, shaking my head, hopping on one foot to go feed my fish. The fish I'd saved from a life of imprisonment in a too-small cell. I think the reason I pushed myself today the way I did was because I hated the way Charlotte's world had been shrunk. If she was going to live in a cage, I wanted to help her make the most of it. Soften it any way I could. I always thought of the famous quote, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. I didn't want her to suffer anymore. She didn't deserve what had happened to her, and the insult to the injury was the way she was forced to live because of it. I knew it was really early on, and we didn't know each other very well, but I was protective of her. Whether she knew it or not, I was in. And once I was in, that was it. I'd do anything for the people I cared about, and I cared about her. Probably more than I should.